Okay, test 2 reading, part 1, 13 questions, 20 minutes. Let's start. Cellular slime molds. The first stage, they're free-living, separate amoebae, usually inhabiting soil, but their food supplies are relatively easily exhausted since the cell's movements are restricted. Okay, this introduction doesn't look like a normal introduction. There's no thesis statement, which either means that this is part of the introduction and this is the second paragraph is also the introduction, or because there's only a few more paragraphs, I've got a feeling this is an exposition essay, an expository essay, which means it's just describing to us what is cellular slime mold. So if you don't understand cellular slime mold, this will tell you what one is. Let's just check the conclusion to make sure. The process by which the blah become transformed, two different cell types A and B, is of great interest to developmental biologists because it's similar to an important process found in higher organisms. So this is still explaining more about it. So the whole thing is explaining to us what these things are. Probably very difficult. According to paragraph 1, how slime mold should be classified. Used to be, okay. Classed for convenience with fungi, at one time used to be regarded as organisms of ambiguous taxonomic status. Alright, so the taxonomy is their class, yes? So classified, so what class are they? Is ambiguous. Ambiguous means it's hard to say. Is it this one or is it this one? It's hard to say, which is unclear. These two are very similar, but I would say that. Ingesting. At the first stage, they're free-living amoebae. An amoeba is a single-celled organism, so like a bacteria. An amoeba, they're usually inhabiting the forest floor and ingest bacteria. So an amoeba that ingests a bacteria, a single-celled organism that ingests another single-celled organism. You might know digest, and go in. I don't think they have teeth. I don't think they're hunters. So it looks like eating is the right word. What is unusual about the slime mold's life cycle? Okay, so where are we? But their food supplies are relatively easily exhausted, movements are restricted. When the cells become starved, the organisms initiate a genetic program which permits the cell to find a new environment. The single-celled amoeba combine together to form a multicellular creature. Is that right? Here we go. Their uniqueness. That's unusual, isn't it? Their uniqueness is a life cycle which alternates between feeding, unicellular, and reproductive, multicellular. No, this one. According to the passage, what's the primary reason the cell needs to combine? Was that not about finding food? Yeah, to find new food. Right. Look at the 4 squares. Starvation is reached. Wait, where are the 4 squares? I see no 4 squares. I see a slash. Am I in the wrong part? Uh-oh. Well, that's very strange. If I turn that off, does that help? No. Alright, let's see. When the cells become starved, starvation is reached. The organism is in state of U, blah blah blah. At this point, the single cell combine together. Well, that's talking about combination. This is talking about starvation, so it should go probably here. Hey, look at that. That's right. The word entity is closest in meaning to single cell, then combined together. The mechanism by which they become single entity is chemical in nature. So lots of things become one thing. They become a single thing, a single unit. The word others in the passage refers to some become somewhat. During this period, the cells within the mass differentiate into two different kinds of cell. Some cells become blah blah blah, and others form pre-spore cells. Good. All of the following are mentioned except head, stalk, legs, spores. It'd be strange if it had legs. Leaves behind a trail of slime rather like slug, blah blah blah. Stalk, head, spores. Stalk, head, spores, legs. Why does the author refer to a fungus-like organism as a fruiting body? Final fruiting body is about 2 mil. The head develop into spores which are dispersed, form the next generation. Front cells are in a stalk, bat cells climb up. So the saurocarp is the fruiting body, huh? Why is it called a fruit? Because it's one thing? No. Because of its height? That doesn't seem right. Has a stalk and a head? Because it has reached its reproductive stage. It's fruiting because it's reached its reproductive stage. Fruiting, head develop into spores, they disperse and form the next generation. Next generation. Reproduction. Good stuff. Which best expresses the essential information? Okay, so the head changes into spores. The spores are scattered in the environment and they become the next generation. Next generation of cells. What? No, spores. Spores are dispersed. The spores are scattered. Yes, they develop into a new generation. Yes. It can be inferred that developmental biologists are especially interested in the slime mold because... Where was developmental biologists? That was at the end, wasn't it? Developmental biologist. There. It's of great interest to developmental biologists since it's analogous, similar to an important process found in higher organisms. This process, specialized functions come from unspecialized cells. Specialized functions from unspecialized cells. Higher organs. The change in degree of specialization helps them to understand cell development. I guess so. It's convenient to form experiments. That's not what it says. Scientists form hybrid organisms. No. It's easy to find specimens. No, I think that one. According to the passage, the recent DNA studies... Where is that? DNA. Nowadays experiment using DNA, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. The more molecular approach gives more precise results than using stained dyes, but has essentially backed up the results of the earlier studies. DNA studies give similar results to the dye studies, contradict the dye studies, are less exact than the dye studies. No, that's not true. They have introduced confusion. That's not true. Contradicts? No, it says backed up. Backed up means supports, which means they're the same. And then the last one, oh goodness, I don't like this. Alright, so we've got two kinds of cells, unspecialized and specialized. Where did I just see that? Specialized, unspecialized. So we've got specialized functions from unspecialized stem cells. So specialized means they have a function, a special function. So that's not specialized, is it? Died. That's completely wrong. That's specialized, isn't it? That's a special part. That's specialized. That happened at the beginning when they were normal. That happened at the beginning when they were normal. That happened at the beginning when they were normal. And that was special. Hey, that's correct.